We're going to start by doing a coin toss to see who's going to get the first pick. And then we're going to just go back and forth from the first pick until we each pick 5. And then we take the worldwide box office gross from those movies, combine them together for a total per team. And whoever has the most money at the end of the year will be the winner of the 2024 box office draft.
That's wild.
This is a tradition. You know, we do this every year, starting last year.
Yep. Welcome to Backseat Directing,
where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
We're your hosts,
Andrew
and Aaron.
We put out new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on this episode, we're doing the 2024 box office draft.
3, 2, 1, action.
It's here. 2024 has arrived, which means only one thing. It's time for our 2024 box office draft. We just got off the episode crowning Andrew for his victory of 2023. My team had 2 bombs and Andrew's team had a few dimes.
This is a tradition. You know, we do this every year, starting last year.
Yep.
But I'm really excited to return. Obviously, we're so excited that we dressed up.
Yes.
This is an important day.
We're drafting teams worth billions of dollars. It's only right that we wear half a suit.
And I wanted to start this by extending my best wishes to you.
Thank you.
Psych. Yeah. I'm here to dominate. This is not time to play around. I'm here to step on Aaron. We're going for a three-peat. So I'm envisioning next year's victory already.
All right, Andrew's got that Nathan energy from Ted Lasso, which Andrew hasn't seen that, but those of you that have, he's feeling pretty confident right now and thinks that 1 win will lead to 2. And I'm praying, hoping, and have done research to try to make sure that will not happen. So, shall we get into it?
Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
any first thoughts, before we figure out who goes first?
I do want to just explain the draft really quickly.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of drafts, but
yes.
In case you're finding us for the first time or if you want a refresher, here's how we do our drafts. Specifically for this one, we're going to start by doing a coin toss to see who's going to get the first pick. That person's going to decide, but they're going to pick to do the first pick.
Yep.
We both know that already. And then we're going to just go back and forth from the first pick. We'll go until we each pick 5. And then we're going to pick an additional bench player in case for some reason one of the movies on our team doesn't come out. That movie will slide onto our team. And then we take the worldwide box office gross from those movies, combine them together for a total per team. And whoever has the most money at the end of the year will be the winner of the 2024 box office draft. And you can check out episode 50, I believe,
yep,
to watch our first box office draft and see. You can kind of laugh along and see how those turned out. Now looking back, that all the box office has rolled in for 2023.
And I'm pretty sure it is 56 or 7 for the recap of 2023. If you want to watch that, see all the results.
100 and
yeah,
okay. I thought
56.
You just 156.
Yeah, it's whatever episode came out right before then. Yeah, we're over 100 deep since our first box office draft. These drafts are tricky because it's a year until we find out what the answers, what the results are.
Yeah, I want to, before we get started, to say thank you to everyone who clicked on this video. We appreciate you so much, whether you're watching or listening. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our awesome content. We are on all social media, so you can find us anywhere. Make sure to follow us on there as well to find clips from the show. And we also do have merch. You can see me and Aaron are both wearing different colors of the Backseat Directing t-shirt, so you can see that in the link in our bio for this episode description as well.
And join the conversation. We have a Discord in the link in the description, and it's free. Just join in. We talk about different episodes that are coming up, movies.
You can tell us why you thought our picks from this episode were stupid.
Yep.
Or if you just thought Aaron made really bad picks, you can do that too.
Yeah, of course, no one in the Discord ever says anything negative about Andrew. That is not allowed, not accepted.
That's for other Discords.
That's right.
Not for my Discords. It's an instant ban.
All right. Shall we see who goes first?
Yeah, I'm excited.
We got a $1 coin here. Or is it a $50?
Am I calling it in the air?
Yep. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Heads. Give me heads. Give me heads. Give me heads. Give me heads. You look upset.
It's tails, of course.
Yes! Yes, I got heads. Oh my god, dude. I was so nervous for you to get first.
This is how it happened last time. Andrew got the first pick.
Yeah, but last time my first pick is like 6th place over all of our picks. So
Yeah.
it's very unpredictable. And I will say, starting off, that 2024 is not a banner year for movie releases. If you look at the slate, like, it is not as impressive a slate of movie releases as 2023 was.
At least for like surefire home run picks.
Well, it just means,
feels like.
in terms of the amount of movies I'm excited for, there was a much larger number in 2023. Like, the Barbie Oppenheimer day alone was like such an event. And I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to see both on the same day. Those movies are both going to be awesome. Chris Nolan's doing a new movie. Greta Gerwig's doing a new movie. And
But even in the beginning, though, when we did our draft, we didn't think those movies were going to be as big as they actually were.
Yeah.
You did end up drafting Barbie in your 5th place of your team, but I don't think you thought it was going to make, what, 1.2 or $3 billion that did. And then Oppenheimer came in, what, 4th place of the year, making over $900 million. Neither of us drafted that.
I said a few different numbers over the year, because we'll go back and talk about this a lot throughout the year. That's why this is such a momentous episode, and we're a little nervous. I know, because if we talk about it all year long.
Am I sweating?
Yeah, play this at home with your friends too. Like, draft your own movies and let us know who's winning. Like, who picked a better team.
It's a lot of fun. It makes going to the theaters and stuff a lot more interesting.
We're the only ones I've seen doing this too. So, but I thought Barbie. I think overall my thought for Barbie was like 600 or 700 million. I did not envision like 1.2 billion.
I had it at 4 or 5, which was still pretty good, but nowhere near where it actually ended up landing.
But let's
what are you taking for the first pick of the 2024 draft?
I will be taking Despicable Me 4.
You son of a gun! You son of a gun!
Yeah, this pick doesn't really need defense. It kind of defends itself, but if you think that sounds kind of ridiculous, if you're looking at the 2024 movies and you're like, Despicable Me 4, what is he? Look at the box office. This might be the most successful animated film franchise of all time. They have 2 movies that have made $1 billion.
I'm so angry right now.
Like, pretty much the bare minimum, the lowest I think was like 800 million or something.
Yeah, I got the numbers for you here.
Oh, Arron researched. He thought he was going to get this movie. He's got the numbers for us.
Let me, before I get the numbers pulled up, let me go ahead and switch.
The Minions movie made over $1 billion. I know that. Rise of Gru made like $980 million. Despicable Me 3, I think, made over $1 billion. And then 2 was like 9 something.
Yeah. So you're not even including the Minion movies, which I
did. I said Minions and Rise of Gru.
So the Minions, 1.1 billion. Despicable Me, 3 billion. Despicable Me 2, 975. Rise of Gru, 940, and then the very first one, 540.
To be clear, those 540 and everything he's saying is hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So this felt like a pretty surefire pick for this movie. I feel like the floor for this movie should be really high. Hopefully the Gentle Minions haven't like jumped off the hype train, but these movies have done very well. And I think it has a good release date too. I believe it's coming out in the summer, if I'm not mistaken.
July 3rd, 2024.
Yeah. So summertime, kids on vacation. I hope families are going to go see this movie time and time again. And I'm hoping that my number 1 pick doesn't let me down.
Gosh.
Believe in you, Despicable Me 4. Believe in you. Steve Carell.
That makes me so upset.
If you won first, here's my plan. If you had won the coin toss, I was going to say, I will give you best 2 out of 3 if you're willing to risk it for having the first 2 picks. I was willing to risk that much to try and get Despicable Me 4. I was going to see if you're a gambling man.
I can't go out of the rules of the order here.
You wouldn't have taken it?
No, I would have taken Despicable Me 4.
That'd be good.
For the same reason that you did.
You could have got Despicable Me 4 and another good movie off that gamble, though. All right, so Aaron's going to have his number 1 pick next.
I have my list order here, but I was hoping that you would take like my number 2 or 3 pick, so it'll help me decide between the 2 of them of which one I actually want on my team here.
The Gentle Minions.
Man. That was crazy. I'm so upset. Okay, I think I'm going to kind of change my order a little bit based off of you getting that. I was really hoping I was going to be able to go first today. You know, in my notes, I have my name written first instead of your name in terms of like trying to turn things around from last year. You know, I went second last year. I was like, I gotta be going
Yeah,
first.
change up the order a little bit. You're probably. I'll say this one for you. Aaron's going to take the Mickey Mouse movie. The copyrights ended, so he's going to take the Mickey Mouse horror movie that's coming out next year.
I'm gonna go ahead and just counter your animated movie with another animated movie.
I think I know what it is.
Yeah, it's probably the number 2 or 1, depending on how it comes out, you know. But I got Pixar's Inside Out 2 will be my first one.
Yeah, you got all your numbers on there, right? The first one made 800 million.
Yeah, first one made 800 million, and I was like, the last one or the first one that came to mind where there was like a long gap between the first and the second one was The Incredibles. So I was like, what did the second one do in comparison? And when I looked it up, I was like, holy crap. So the first one made 630 million.
Very successful animated movie.
And then the second one made $1.2 billion.
Well, the thing is, The Incredibles aged with us so well because when we were kids, The Incredibles came out, and they ended that on a cliffhanger, like basically telling us that they were going to do a part 2. And then people our age were just left on a cliffhanger for years.
Yeah.
And so our excitement when Incredibles 2 came out was like so high. We'd been waiting for it for so long, and adults were going back to watch it, let alone kids. Like, and then when the poster they released, when I could see like the tiny hairs on Bob's arm on the poster, I was like, God, they're Pixar's cooking with the animation, and they're granular with it.
So I also was like, all right, well, how good is Pixar in the box office? Well, at least for returning movies, so sequels, really good. The only movies above Inside Out are Finding Nemo, which was the first one, but then we have Finding Dory, sequel, Toy Story 3, sequel, Toy Story 4, and then Incredibles 2 has made the most out of all of them. And Inside Out, the first one, again, made 850. So I'm hoping.
You're very well researched again.
Thank you.
I
pulled up all the numbers just like last time. It didn't work out for me last time, but I'm hoping I got to stay with my way.
I was very like gut based last time. Like I was like, I picked Spider-Verse. I don't know how well it's going to, the first one didn't make enough to be picked for a top 10, but this one I was like, I'm feeling it. I want to watch it succeed. I'm going with a similar strategy this year. I will say that.
I've already gone out of my order that I have numbered here. So I'd like to see what your next pick is, Andrew. Your second pick of the 2024 draft is?
I feel inclined to go out of my order as well.
Dude, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
I gotta take this while it's still out there. I'm gonna pick Deadpool 3 for my second pick.
Nice. See, that was definitely on my list, and I actually had that as my number 2 pick. But I just superhero movies burned me bad this year. And I was thinking, okay, if there's a movie that was not going to come out this year due to whatever reason, it's going to be Deadpool 3, right?
With all the Marvel turmoil.
Yeah, so I was thinking that there could be a risk that it might not come out. So I didn't want to have to go to my benched player at all.
Especially on a number 2 pick would be suck to lose a number 2 pick and go to your 6 on the bench.
I was worried. I was worried about picking Deadpool 3. But I do think if it does come out this year, it's going to make a lot of money. And I, again, have some numbers if you don't already have them.
Yeah, the first one made 782 million, I think, and the second one made 785 million. How am I doing off the dome?
Yep, that is correct. And then Logan made 619. All 3 of them, of course, are rated R. And now they're going to be included into the MCU, which I know as of recently has kind of had this like murky water of it maybe fallen off, but I think for Deadpool it might help it, like because we can see cameos, and I think this is gonna kind of be like an event similar to the Spider-Man movie that came out 2 years ago.
Here's the thing: is I was like, I understand that thought process. Superhero movies did burn you. And I thought maybe that the stink that's been on Marvel lately would apply to Deadpool. But for one, Deadpool kind of has existed in his own thing, and he has built up a brand. R-rated movies, it's very hard to make over the amount of money they've made. And then on top of that, the adrenaline surging through the veins of an audience, seeing Hugh Jackman return as Wolverine wearing a comic-accurate Wolverine costume, and then also we've seen, spoiler alert, skip ahead 20 seconds if you don't want to hear it. We've seen footage of Cyclops, Scott Summers Cyclops, on screen as well. The amount of things that they can do in this
Should I
movie
have picked this?
is just insane. There's the fan service is going to be through the roof, and I think seeing Ryan and Hugh on screen as Deadpool and Wolverine is just going to be like
Yeah.
audiences are going to talk this up. It's going to be.
I think it's going to be a great movie, and I want it to be good, of course. You know, I love Deadpool, I love Wolverine. But for the draft, I just felt nervous about it because it already had to stop once. It's still filming now, and that's a quick turnaround. You know, they're not done filming it, which I don't know how far along they are with a lot of these other movies, you know, that we're going to be drafting today. But it just seems quick.
It's just a movie I have to gamble.
Yeah,
because
it feels like it's a high risk, high reward kind of movie.
If I let it get down the way, I feel like you're more likely to be willing to risk on it when it comes to 4 and 5.
Yes,
I don't want you to have it.
Yes, man, I wanted it, but it made me nervous.
Gotta play.
Did you have Inside Out on your scope?
Yeah. My Inside Out.
You don't have to tell me the number if you don't want to, but what I was thinking, similar to you probably with Despicable Me 4, to backtrack here for a second, is that when you're going to these animated movies that are for kids, it's a higher ticket price per viewing in terms of
the amount of people buying tickets.
Exactly. So like a parent's going to bring their kids. They have one kid, they probably are bringing another kid, or maybe there's 2 parents. So like, you can kind of average it out to like 1.5 people per trip to the theater, you know?
Well, think about this. Deadpool 3, if it's R-rated, every 13-year-old that wants to go has to have an adult buy a ticket with them.
That's true, but not every adult would. But I do think it's going to make a lot of money if it does come out as planned. You know, they're not rushing to get CGI stuff done the week before, you know?
They made the first
which is
one,
possible.
They made the first one so smart with very little CGI.
Dude, the budget for the first one, do you know what it was?
Was it $100 million?
No, bro. $58 million for the first one. And it made $782 million in the box office. That's wild.
They wrote into the script him forgetting the guns in the taxi and only having one gun in the beginning of the movie because they didn't have the budget to do more. They originally intended to have him firing all kinds of additional like weaponry, and
I think it worked better with the swords anyways.
Yeah,
than it would have with guns.
And the one like magazine scene in the opening of that movie is so fantastic. A highlight of the whole Deadpool storyline.
All right, you ready for my second pick?
Oh, I was born ready. I think I have a guess in my head. Let's see.
Probably know it. I mean, like you said in the beginning of this, there's only so few big possible hits, you know, to land with, even if they flop, making 400, 500 million, you know? And my pick is going to be the Joker.
Oh, interesting pick.
Yeah. That wasn't what you thought, huh?
No. That's not in my top 5.
Wow. Okay.
This, I think this is where you should have potentially lost trust in superhero movies, is because this is a very similar situation to your superhero pick of Aquaman, where it's a DC movie that made over $1 billion, was very successful when it came out. But now you've got a sequel coming out when people have lost so much faith in DCEU. People have not shown up for the DCEU. What was the Blue Beetle did not do well financially at all.
I know you're trying to make me feel bad, you know, for picking the Joker. And I had my hesitations for sure. But I mean, the first one made $1 billion, like you said, but also won Oscars. And now they're bringing on Lady Gaga, which I think is going to bring some sort of appeal to the movie. You know, we have already an Oscar-nominated actor. And did she? I don't know if she won anything.
She might be Oscar-nominated.
Star is Born.
I think she won for original song.
But the Star is Born, I mean, had a really big pull with her and Bradley Cooper. And that movie's budget was $36 million, and it made $436 million.
But that movie, that's largely based on how good that movie was. That's a word of mouth movie for sure. I think that when
But with the Joker, I think has a big pull. Even if it's going to do bad, I feel like the Joker is going to bring in more than Aquaman, you know?
I think so too. But I think when mass audiences find out that it's a musical, I think it's going to curb the ticket buying.
We'll see. We'll see.
I never bet on musicals financially. But that brings me back to my next pick. Oh, now I've got some tough choices ahead of me. I think this is a good one, but I'm just super nervous. Let me check my stats real quick. So did I manage to shake your confidence at all in your pick?
I think I'm holding strong with the Joker.
I'm gonna do it.
I don't think it's gonna have as big of a drop off as Aquaman.
I'm sticking with the trend here. All my movies so far start with a D. Despicable Me 4, Deadpool 3, and for my third movie, Dune Part 2.
Nice. Yep, that was on my list too. Which is funny because it was supposed to come out last year and neither of us picked it.
Yeah. And now, but the thing about this year is that the slate of movies this year, I think Dune has more competition amongst these movies than last year's movies. Also, one thing I promised myself I would do this year was look more closely at release dates. Like last year, obviously, was big talk that Barbie and Oppenheimer coming out the same week, but I wasn't paying attention to the fact that Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning was the week before, and I think that really hurt Mission Impossible's numbers. My first overall pick that I think would have done a lot better if not for the juggernauts of Barbie and Oppenheimer coming out a week after it. It's not a good idea to have a movie that close to an event like that. And Dune's coming out in March, and there's just not much around it, especially not much that's like competitive in terms of the size and weight. I think maybe like Challengers comes out a little while after that, which I'm very, very excited to see on on a personal level. But I think Dune Part 2 is sitting safely in March where people are going to have money in their pocket to see that movie and not have other movies competing with interest.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of hype around this movie.
The cast
out.
is also stacked.
Yeah.
The cast is insane. I mean, now they had
kind of like this year's
Chalamet,
Oppenheimer.
It
Almost.
literally is. It's got Florence Pugh, which Oppenheimer also had.
Yep.
But I think they added Austin Butler is in it as well.
Is he?
Dave Bautista's been in it, I believe, since the first one. So
Yep.
the cast is just like crazy. The people they're adding. I love Florence Pugh, so I'm excited to see her in this movie.
All right. I think we're kind of getting into the picks now that are like really going to make or break. You know, this is kind of where Andrew won last year's draft, was in these later picks. I feel like these movies that are left are really close together.
This is where we're gonna see our little touch on it. I think a little bit more because it's more questionable picks. We're gonna see what our like preferences, and the first like 5 are like movies that are really, really big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not. I feel like the ones that are left, I'm not as like excited for, you know, in terms of like, oh, it's going to bring in 800, 900 or $1 billion. But I think this next pick has a chance to bring in a good amount of money. It is also a part of a franchise, which so far every one of our picks has been. And I think there's a reason for that. They just make money, you know. And that is going to be Kung Fu Panda 4.
Okay, I'm actually kind of glad you chose it, not because I think it's going to do bad, but because I was worried about whether or not I was going to pick it. So now I don't have to make that decision. But I feel like the Kung Fu Panda movies have historically done pretty well, and I've already seen marketing for it, which is usually a good sign for your movie doing well. Like I've seen Jack Black. There's a video where he's FaceTiming Awkwafina and Viola Davis and talking to them, welcoming them to the cast of the show. And so like they're doing PR for it already. So it's
yeah, so
do well. Obviously to make 4 movies in a franchise has to do pretty well.
The first one, 632 million. The second one, 665 million. The third one, 521 million. So I feel like averaging out to $600 million across the 3 movies that have already come out, if this can come within 100 or 200 million of that, that's going to be a solid pick for my team, especially sitting at 3. You know, it's kind of one of those wild card picks where maybe it averages out to where the rest of the franchise is, or maybe it has the potential to blow up, you know, but I don't think it has that big of a chance to really fall down to 200, 100 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, the ratings are pretty decent for these movies too. A 7.6, 7.2, 7.1. The Minion movies are all right around there, if not a little bit under. Especially the last 3 that came out, where the Minions was 6.4, Despicable Me 3 was 6.2, and then Rise of Groot was 6.5. So people seem to really like these movies. So hopefully they bring their kids to go see this movie, and it gets me some points, you know, some money on my team. So that brings us, Andrew, to your 4th pick. This is going by too fast, man. This is too quick.
Yeah. I know the last two that I want. I just don't know the order that I want them in. And I'm nervous about whether you have your eye on them. I'm positive you have your eye on one of them for
I
certain.
will say right now, my top 6 choices have been picked.
Interesting. Yeah. So good. Then I feel like that's more confidence in my picks. My top 5 choices have not been picked.
Wow.
So I still have.
Well, then what are you debating over there?
I'm worried if I put something in the wrong order. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take a movie that I want to root for, that I'm very excited to see. I'm a very big fan of the prequel, the original movie, and like Aaron said, picking sequels
Franchise, yeah.
just makes money. We've
Yep.
been doing it. So for my number 4 pick of the draft, I'm gonna go with Gladiator 2.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. I didn't have that on my list. I thought that was kind of like a wild card pick. I didn't really know what to make of that one.
Yeah, so the first one back in the year 2000 made over $500 million. So that may not hold a lot of weight for current audiences, but I think a lot of people love Gladiator. A lot of people love Ridley Scott. He makes amazing movies. And the thing that really sealed the deal for me in picking this movie was when I looked at IMDb and I was like, wow, look at this cast. What a beautiful cast, side by side. Denzel Washington's in this movie. Pedro Pascal's in this movie. Joseph Quinn, Paul Mescal. So the cast for this movie is absolutely insane. I think it has a good release date as well. It comes out towards the end of the year without much around it. I'm kind of I think it comes out in November if I'm not mistaken. November releases haven't done that strong this year, but I'm just hoping that the Ridley fandom shows up and this movie. The original is iconic in terms of cinema history, so I'm hoping for a Top Gun Maverick treatment from the audience.
Yeah. Okay. Good pick. That one I didn't really know what to make of. I haven't seen the first movie either, so I don't have like any emotional attachment to the series. I've heard like kind of back and forth things, a lot of positive praise, I'd say.
That's a big one about why I wanted to pick this one, is because I like the first one and I want to pick movies that I want to root for. Because I see some on here, but they're like, I see some other options that I could have picked at 4, but movies that I don't really totally want to watch. And I don't want to
Right.
pick movies that I'm not even going to see.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I kind of go the opposite route. I kind of go for movies that have made a lot of money in the past and will hopefully continue to do so, which my picks last year did not. So it makes me a little nervous for my next few picks. I got 2 left, 3 if you count the bench. See, I'm not too high on all the ones left, you know. I didn't have that one on my list either, so that doesn't help narrow anything down for me. But I think I'm also gonna go for a movie that I'd root for, you know. It has the potential to swing pretty high, and even still, I think it'll kind of land right in the middle, you know, getting a decent amount of money, and that is gonna be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I don't like the Apes movies as much as you do, but I see the potential. The Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, right? Is that the middle one? I think
That is the middle one.
It made 700 million, 770 maybe.
Look at you, well researched. 710 million.
710.
The first one, Rise,
Both like
got
400.
480, and then War got 490. So I'm hoping somewhere right around there. You know, right around the 5.
If it makes 500 million, then it's probably gonna be in the top 10. I think 500 million put, like less than that, put Ant-Man in the top 10 this year.
Right.
My goal for us is for us to pick the top 10.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that between the two of us.
Ant-Man, $476 million was in the 10th place. So
you could probably, if Kingdom matches up, the special effects still look amazing, and I think it has a good director too.
yeah, it's a different director than the previous 2, but then the first one was also a different director.
Yeah.
So
And that one did well.
So yeah, so it can kind of, I feel like this was another wild card one that I was willing to risk because I enjoyed the franchise. I know the first 3 movies are held really high among franchises, you know.
These movies date back decades, so there's fans from like.
Yeah, and we
70s.
know that the special effects are going to be top tier, you know. And
They already look good in the trailer.
Yeah, I think that's a big pull for the movie.
What does he say in the trailer? He's like a beautiful day.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. We got 1 pick left each, Andrew. So where are you leading for the last pick on your team, your last starter on your team.
I don't know. I'm really torn apart here. I kind of wish Kung Fu Panda was actually still on the board, honestly.
You're just trying to make me feel better.
No, I also had, I actually even had Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes above Kung Fu Panda. So I have 2 picks left. One of them I feel kind of nervous for. I'm just gonna pull the trigger on this movie and hope. I'm gonna use Aaron's own logic against him from last year and hope that it behooves me more than it behooved him.
I think I know what you're picking.
Aaron explained last year that he was picking Ariel or The Little Mermaid because of the success of previous live action adaptations done by Disney. So with that same logic, I am going to pick Mufasa.
Yep, I was gonna pick that next. I'm kind of surprised that you picked it, but at the same time, I mean, the track record of these movies outside of the one that I picked last year is really freaking good.
Well, Ariel's still in the top 10. Even the poor performing, quote unquote, poor
Of the year?
performing.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if that's considered the worst performing of live action adaptations, it was still a top 10 grossing movie in its year.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can get the same treatment at bare minimum with Mufasa. But the other Lion King movies, live action adaptations did so well. Hopefully this one has a similar draw. And Mufasa is like the coolest character in The Lion King. So
Yeah.
I'd be more interested in watching this than some of the other live action adaptations. I was really disappointed
First Lion
by some of
King,
them.
First Lion King remake, 1.6 billion.
6. That's damn near climbing up to $2 billion.
Yeah. Yeah. Sheesh, you got a stacked team over there right now.
I'm excited to see most of them, especially the middle 3.
The middle 3 of yours?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deadpool, Dune, and Gladiator.
For yours,
Dune, you're not even excited for Dune. You haven't seen the first one.
I'm gonna watch the first one now. I'm excited because of the cast. I've become a much bigger Timothée Chalamet fan since our draft last year because I hadn't seen his movies.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm most excited for your first pick, but we can
For
talk
my
about
first pick, yeah, Inside Out 2. I think that one's I think gonna be my highest one, or at least have a chance.
I could see it going 750, 800 million. Definitely. It
Yeah.
seems very realistic for that movie.
I know a lot of people liked the first Inside Out a lot, and it's kind of like, oh, those kids, they're growing up a little bit, like, so hopefully it kind of has that same effect,
Yeah.
where it has a long
longevity
fanhood,
The cast is stacked. I'm kind of personally mad at them that they didn't get Bill Hader back. Apparently Bill Hader and the actress who I'm sorry I'm forgetting her name, but the actress who plays Phyllis in The Office, they play sadness and anxiety or fear, and they didn't offer them. It seems like from what I've heard, they didn't offer them a pay raise or they weren't offering them enough this time around, so they replaced them, and that's very disappointing
Oh wow,
to me because
I didn't know that.
I love Bill Hader, so I'm very upset about that. But I love the first Inside Out. I cry when I watch it. And I think they're doing a smart thing too. They're adding new cast members that young people are very interested in. Because like the girl who voices their new emotion, anxiety, that comes in with the hormones. She's very popular now.
Yeah, what's her first name? She's Ethan Hawke's daughter.
My Hawk.
Yes. She's in Stranger Things.
Yeah, so that's very clever of them. And they'll probably bring in a slew of new emotions with puberty, so we'll get
her voice seems to really fit the role too, and like what she's having to say. That's kind of her character in Stranger Things too. Yeah. The anxiety. Yeah. Okay.
Just my bench pick, so a little bit of pressure off.
All right, my last pick. Gosh, I hate this.
I knew you would get Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I knew you would want it.
Yeah. I wonder how it'll do. It's a wild card. I feel like all of these are kind of wild card. I felt way more confident last year.
I feel like Kingdom will make
Bit me in the butt.
I feel like Kingdom will make 350 at least.
Yeah, let's see. What did I give it? I'm hoping for like 5 to 7. I mean, that's right around what the other ones made. So
7 would be upper echelon. It's like
Yeah.
pushing up to Dawn, which is like the peak of the
Right.
franchise.
okay. I think this is the last like bigger movie. It's also a part of a franchise, which is just the way to go for these kind of drafts. What was it for this year's numbers? How many are franchised? Or 1 isn't. 2. Only 2 of the top 10 were not in a franchise, and that was Elemental
Yeah.
and Oppenheimer.
Which one is Chris Nolan, and the other's Pixar.
Yeah, and Oppenheimer also came out with Barbie, so it became Barbenheimer, which was this huge event, you know.
Well,
So
Barbie too. I mean, Barbie's got, I guess, a franchise. So nothing really.
yeah, I guess Barbie's the original one too.
Everything has something pre-established behind it, giving it weight. Even Elemental has Pixar behind it.
Yeah.
So every one of those, it's not none of them's from like a random studio, you know.
Yeah,
Not even a random studio, but like Warner Brothers or Universal could make a movie that could go top 10, you know,
right. I feel like this is
with no IP behind it.
I feel like this movie. So it's there's a few entries in this franchise. One entry more recently, and that movie didn't do as big as I need it to in the box office as I'm hoping this one does. But I'm thinking since the other one was so highly praised that it'll give this one a bit of a boost.
I know
you
what you're
know,
gonna say.
and that's going to be Furiosa, Mad Max Saga.
Okay, I think Furiosa is a good pick. I have it written down I wrote down like a 10, you know, worst case scenario. I would need 10 options, and I wrote Furiosa down in my 10. I don't think it
So it wasn't your bench player?
It wasn't my bench player. I think I know who my bench player is going to be. There's still 2 picks, and Furiosa's probably down the bottom at my 10. I just have a little bit of lack of faith in Furiosa making more than Mad Max Fury Road. Oof. The cast is really good.
Wouldn't be ideal if that's the case.
Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Historically, your 4 and 5 picks have not done well.
Historically, 1 year in.
Historically, my 5 picks are my luckiest picks. My number 1 on my team, not the way it should be.
All right, where are you leaning?
For my bench, I'm going to go with... I don't know how I feel about this at all.
Did we explain the bench?
Yeah, I mentioned it at the beginning, but just to reiterate, the bench is going to be our player that joins the team if for any reason one of our top 5 has to drop out.
3.
If that movie is canceled, do not put Bad Juju on my number 2 pick. Deadpool 3 is coming out this year. I will show up at headquarters.
Hi, I'd like a ticket for Deadpool 3, please. All right, you're benched. Who you got? Who's keeping that seat warm for your starters?
Do I go with the safe pick? There's 2 really good options, I think, that are left on the board that we haven't picked. For my bench pick, I'm going to go with Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Nice.
We've been really talking about the animated movies this year, and I think since
it's because they just make a lot of money.
Like you talked about, I think not necessarily that they always do insane numbers, but animated movies are reliable, especially in the summer, because families want to bring their kids to do something. And they'll bring their kids out to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3. They have for the first 2.
But they won't watch this during summer since it comes out December 20th.
Oh, snap. I thought this was the summer.
So they won't be watching it in the summertime.
But, well, they're probably going to have to.
But you're right about a lot of the other ones.
They must have to work on CGI a lot. Jeez. But I think that's really annoying.
It's a Christmas movie.
Too, because if mine gets picked, or if I have to use it, then we're going to have to wait forever to go over the...
Mufasa comes out around the same time.
And the November, December releases have been very cold this year. Picking that, I thought I was...
Mufasa, also December 20th.
They're in competition with each other, dang.
Yep.
Well, no, but that's my bench pick. That's my bench pick. Okay, it's I don't necessarily have to use that. But the other 2 movies, they both are some of the highest grossing animated movies. Maybe not of all time, but in the last decade. The other 2 movies were the 2 highest grossing video game to movie adaptations before Mario came out.
The other 2 only brought in 319 and then 405.
Sonic the Hedgehog? Mm-hmm. I thought I looked it up and it was 600 million.
The 2020 movie had a budget of 85 and came out with 319. And then the 2022 version that just came out this 2 years ago had 110 budget with a 405 million box office.
Well, here's hoping I don't have to use this pick then.
Am I wrong?
No, 319 million for the first Sonic.
Yeah. So it'll help you out. It'll help you out if you need it. You know, like it hopefully won't be a bomb, but maybe not as high as you thought it was.
Man, I should have picked the other movie on my list.
I'm wondering what your other movie is.
I did my research a little bit more loosey goosey than I told Aaron that I did all my research on the way here. I like stop at a stoplight and look at my phone and do my research for this episode just because I came in with a high level of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I also did not have time to do my research before right now.
Yeah, I felt
Been
a
at work
little
all-
rushed this time around too. I feel like last year we had a little more time, but last year didn't pan out for me. So even if you have time for these box office drafts to do your research and really think about your picks, doesn't mean it's gonna happen the way you think. But I still have my bench, and there's
You should let me trade out my bench.
no like for one of your teammates.
No, you should let me. You should let me put in a different movie on my bench.
Why in the world would I let you do that?
All right.
Would you ever consider letting me do that?
If Sonic makes $1 billion, then you're gonna have to deal with regret.
What are you talking about? Regret. I already have my team too.
Could have me switch something out, and you declined it. So
Okay, let's see. Where do I want to go here? Oh man. I think let me look up something here real quick. I'm kind of going off of my list from what I originally had written down in terms of my order, you know.
Mhm.
So these picks really kind of threw me for a curve here. I just want to look up the release date. Okay, that's decent for this movie.
this is like your least lowest pressure pick.
I know, but like I almost needed it last year, you know? All right, I'm going to go ahead and take another
Franchise.
animated movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this one I actually don't have a lot of research on, but I just, for whatever reason, right now in the moment, I feel better about it than I do the other ones that are on my list. And that is the Garfield movie.
Yeah. If I was you, I would have gone with Beetlejuice 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But looking back, I kind of want to. I wish I could trade Sonic the Hedgehog out for Beetlejuice 2, but hindsight's 2020.
You think that one's going to crush it?
Not necessarily crush it. I was looking back, and the first Beetlejuice only made $54 million, but it didn't even get released internationally. The difficult thing is that one of the more recent Tim Burton movies, Alice in Wonderland, made over $1 billion. It made $700 million internationally and $300 million domestically. So his
Is Alice in Wonderland bigger than Beetlejuice, or Beetlejuice bigger than Alice in Wonderland?
I don't think necessarily, but I think it just shows the potential. Like if Tim Burton does that well internationally, I think IMDb has Beetlejuice projected at like 540 million. So I think it's a pretty good pick for a bench or number 5, Beetlejuice 2. It's a very cult classic movie since it came out in like 1988. People have like really fallen in love. And then Jenna Ortega's in it as well. She's a pretty big name.
I'm kind of riding on for this pick at least. Kind of Chris Pratt's other animated movies.
I mean, not even just animated
have
movies,
crushed
but
it. Even his other movies,
Chris
yeah,
Pratt's
he's
in a movie. It makes $1 billion.
he's got quite a filmography. Picks.
He's in the MCU. He's in Jurassic World. He's in Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, so I'm probably not going to need to sub that in, but that's my team there. How do you feel about your team overall, Andrew? We got 6 picks. Why don't we go ahead and also kind of recap our full team here? So Andrew picked first, and your team is?
Hi, I'm Andrew. My team is Despicable Me 4 at my number 1 spot. Then
Look at all those numbers after.
Deadpool 3, Dune Part 2, Gladiator 2, Mufasa, The Lion King, and for my bench, I have Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Very nice. Hi, I'm Aaron, and I have Pixar's Inside Out 2, The Joker, Kung Fu Panda 4, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, and then my benched teammate is the Garfield movie.
I found out where my confidence in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 came in. The IMDb projected 2024 thing that you have had so much faith in last year has it
I did not have that much faith in it last year.
projected at $545 million. That's why I thought it was going to be. That's the number that I had in my head.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I don't know why
Not
they
gonna lie.
have that, but
yeah. I feel like there's a lot.
There's no reason to think
even
that.
before this, we started recording. You're like, I don't know if these are done with like research.
yeah. But the thing is, I checked the ones from last year, and so many of them were close. There was like the ones I mentioned to you. There's like 4 or 5 that were off by 200 million or more.
Yeah.
But so many of them were close. Like they predicted Fast X super close. Mission Impossible super close, which would have been hard to do because I feel like Mission Impossible came out to a weird number, like 545 million or something like that. So I don't know. I feel like they were closer than I thought.
Yeah. How do you feel confidence-wise about your team right now?
If Deadpool 3 comes out, I feel like I'm whooping your ass.
Yeah, I like my team too, but I'm not as confident as I was last year in my team.
It depends.
I really don't like that you had the first and third pick. I feel like that really kind of messed me up. You know, I think that was
first
tough.
first and third.
Yeah, first and third pick. Because the Deadpool and Despicable Me 4 were both on my list really high. You know, so if I was going to pick first, I would have picked...
Oh, your first and third picks. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like since you got to go first, you got the biggest movie that we thought. And then you got to go third, so you got the third biggest movie, which was on my list really high as well. So...
But you never know what one of these movies is going to go on a run. If Joker all of a sudden makes 1.2 billion, total game changer, and then if Mufasa flops, now it's like... It's so crazy. I'm
kind of upset that Mufasa isn't on my team because I went with Ariel last year for that reason, and I feel like it's gonna do decent. You know, like you said, even Little Mermaid, that was the 7th highest movie of the year.
Yeah, even with it not doing as well as the other live action adaptation.
Yeah,
so I'm
and
hoping...
it makes me nervous about Kingdom Planet of the Apes that I picked that above Mufasa.
It's gonna be such an exciting year getting to see again. I hope I win. Because I love to win so much.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun because, like, when you win this, you win it all year. You know what I mean? Like the last couple of months I've been in the lead and I've been like, honestly, I don't think I would handle it as well as you have. If I had been behind for these, I'd be so mad at my movie.
Yeah, you were behind in the beginning half of the year.
I was big mad at
But
Mario.
then you had a bunch of movies that came out and then Barbie hit. And your whole mood the rest of the year changed.
We took off.
He was depressed in the beginning of the year, you know. I'd hit him up, hey, Andrew, do you want to hang out? And he's like, no, my box office draft keeps doing so bad. I'm just like, hey, buddy, it's just a game. It doesn't matter, man. Like, I'm winning. It's no big deal.
Be like, come on out. We're gonna go out to eat. I'd be like, I'm just gonna sit here and hit refresh on IMDb all night.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna go watch another one of my movies in the box office to try to help the numbers.
I'm glad because just like last year with Spider-Verse, I have a couple and Barbie, like I have a couple movies that I'm really excited to root for. Like I really want to root for the success of these movies on my team, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, I'm excited for my team. Inside Out 2, Joker, Kingdom and Planet of the Apes are probably the 3 that I'm looking forward to the most. I haven't really actually seen any of Kung Fu Panda, so I don't know how I feel about the 4th one yet.
Despicable Me better not flop. I hope Despicable Me does really well.
I hope people are tired of it. I think the trend was going down a little bit, but even that little bit was not by much. It still brought in a crap ton of money. Oh no, that was not that movie. Those have been doing really good. Yeah, I think I was looking at a different one.
Kung Fu Panda?
Probably.
Pick from your team.
Yep, that one did go down a little bit.
This has been a lot of fun. Make sure to comment so that you can let us know who you're voting for this draft. Because last year, Jay voted for my team, which even though I felt like I was underdog, and I ended up coming out on top. So make sure you comment, and then you can look back and say that you picked whether you picked a dark horse and you were right. But let us know maybe what picks we missed. We want to get in the comments and talk about these movies. Like, is there a glaring movie that we missed? Do you think I'm going to win? Do you think Aaron's going to win? Why do you think we're going to win? Because you think Despicable Me is going to do really well. 3 of the movies that I'm most excited for, I think we didn't even end up picking. Because I'm really excited for Challengers, Fall Guy, and Bike Riders. But in no way am I convinced that they're going to be.
I'm also excited for Roadhouse.
Oh, so excited. Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie.
But that's a streaming movie, so like it wasn't even considered in this. And then Robert Pattinson has a movie too. I can't think of the name. Let me pull it up.
It's not the one about him being a serial killer, is it?
It might be.
Because that was scrapped.
Let me see.
There was a movie about the concept of him being a serial killer running for office, trying to make laws that would make it easier to get away with his crimes. And I think Adam McKay was going to direct it, which sounds so amazing because Adam McKay directs Vice, and I love that movie. And also The Big Short. And that movie got canned.
Mickey 17, is that not going?
I think that's a different movie.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. So I think this one's still to go. I don't know. I don't know much about it, but Mark Ruffalo's always also in it. Stephen Yeun is in it. So
Oh wow,
I feel like it's got
wow,
potential, right?
a lot of potential. That
Yeah.
cast is stacked. I wonder who's directing it.
Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah.
Oh boy, get me in the theater. Catch my ticket getting bought tomorrow.
Yeah, he's directed some stuff.
Dude, Bong Joon-ho is the man. It's a South Korean director. He's made some good movies.
Yeah, so looking forward to that one now. Even
Yeah,
though you don't
super
know
excited.
much about
I
it.
didn't know about it till right now. Now I'm pumped.
Let
Bong
me
Joon-ho
let
movie
me
with that
pull up,
cast?
let me pull up the release date for it. Because I know if I was listening to this podcast, that's what I would want to know.
Yeah.
Tell me the release date.
But yeah, definitely most excited.
March 29th.
Right,
Boom.
day after my birthday.
There we go.
What a beautiful present to me. I'll be going to the early release of that movie on my birthday.
Yeah, we should watch the trailer after this and see what we think.
absolutely.
If there is a trailer, I don't know if there's one out.
I don't think there. I feel like we would have heard about that trailer already.
Let me look it up.
But if we're gonna talk about it, but I'm definitely most excited. Challengers has a really good trailer. It's a Zendaya movie about tennis. If you haven't seen that, go check out that trailer. Bike Riders is a Tom Hardy movie that I think also has Austin Butler. About a biker gang. That movie looks awesome. And Fall Guy, that trailer you've probably seen. That trailer's everywhere with Emily Blunt.
There's a
David Leitch
45-second teaser trailer for Mickey 17.
Okay, we'll check that out.
Yeah.
All right, well, make sure to comment and let us know who you think wins.
All right. Yes. That brings the 2024 box office draft to a conclusion. However, it's not over. We have 1 year to figure out all of the numbers. Andrew has a few movies coming out at the very end of the year, so it'll be right around this time, maybe even longer, of 2025 till we find out all of the numbers for all of these movies. Again, comment down below. Check out our Discord. Join us in the conversation there. We had a lot of fun in there the other day, debating some movie stuff, some action stuff. So make sure you join the conversation. Check out our merch, Backseat Directing. We each are wearing our shirts here. We got 2 different colors. Thanks so much for watching, and that's a wrap.